I think of all the girls in Avatar, SmellerBee by far has to be my favorite. She showed that you didn't have to be a guy to be one of the guys, and at the time when I first started watching the show, that was very important to me. I started this project by getting myself a yard and a half of pleather. Now, this pleather didn't exactly smell the best, so I went ahead and cleaned it using vinegar and dish soap, and even so, it still didn't smell that great, so I put baking soda on it and hung it outside for the night. In the meantime, I grabbed a paper bag and started working on my pattern. I got this pattern by measuring halfway around my waist and then measuring across my chest. I just connected those two measurements using a J shape and then cut here and there to get a better fit. Now, SmellerBee's armor kind of sticks out in the front a little bit, so I decided to replicate this by simply taking another piece of cardboard, rounding out the corners, and using that for the middle. I cut the main armor piece out of cardboard and then started bending it so it would curve to my body. Again, lay the two pieces together to make sure that they fit together correctly. I flattened the pieces back out and then, leaving about ½ inch of seam allowance, began cutting them out of the vinyl. Way to go, Roshi. Your camera angles are amazing. I made small cuts around the seam allowance so that it would be easier to glue down some of the curves. I used super glue for this part. Once the two pieces were covered in the pleather, I then glued them together using more super glue. Day something such of working on my armor, and I decided to update wearing SmellerBee makeup. I'm quite enjoying this, actually. I initially used elastic for the shoulder straps and the waistband. Now, they were originally white, so I tried dyeing them brown. And after about an hour in the dye bath, they turned two completely different colors. But I didn't have any more elastic and I was all out of dye, so I decided to continue on with it. I didn't film this part, but I did cut out another piece of pleather to glue onto the back. So what I did here basically was I took the waistband and I glued it between the cardboard and the pleather using more super glue. I repeated this step for the shoulder straps and then connected those to the waistband. Now I didn't show this part, but I did have to use a zigzag stitch just to secure it in place. I secured another elastic between the shoulder straps. This piece ensured that the shoulder straps wouldn't be sliding off my arms when I was wearing the armor. Again, I secured the elastics using a zigzag stitch. Okay, so in short, this is basically what the armor looks like with a majority of the costume finish. I still need to make her shoulder armor thing that I kept forgetting about and actually forgot about while I was putting on the costume. I'm like, yay, it's all finished, and no, I still have her armor thingy to get done. For the back, I did sort of like a drumline harness of sorts. The only thing that I would actually change about the straps is I'm going to make them tighter and then go back in with liquid dye and see if I can get these any more brown. Other than that, that's basically how you make her chest piece, and yeah, that's basically my SmellerBee cosplay.